The Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Acres is bringing you the nation's largest indoor display of John Deere equipment and technology. Acres 2024 Ag and Turf Expo showcases everything from tillage and planting to application and harvest. We'll also offer the latest industry insights from ag professionals across the state. Join us at the Sandhills Global Event Center March 6th and 7th or Fauner Park March 21st and 22nd. Go to acres.com/expo24 for a complete schedule of speakers and activities.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it on a Thirsty Thursday. I'll be on my own for this one, at least Thirsty Thursday. Not on my own for the show. Joined, as always, by the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Big 8 Rookie of the Year, all-around good guy, Erick Strickland. About to travel the world. Stricky on stream. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
Man, just trying to get all this stuff. It's the tedious stuff of you getting all the little things that you know that you can't get and that you need, the medications that you need, all that stuff, man. You just gotta get that, your vitamins and all that good stuff. But yeah, the main part of it is done, man. Now we're on the block. It's a great day. Let's get it.
Okay, over your left shoulder, who are you locking up?
Travis Best.
Old
school Travis Best, yeah. Two lefties getting after it.
Nice. If you're not on stream, make sure you get there to see Strick locking up Travis Best. We can do that thanks to Starter Heyman Jewelers, who provides our stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. They also sponsor our text line, 402-464-5685. If you've got thoughts on anything we're talking about, and of course, as always, a big shout out to Allo for sponsoring Channel 961 statewide across the great state of Nebraska. Plenty to get to here this show, Strick. Let's just jump right in. Husker football started their mat drills, their kind of winter conditioning workout regimen today, or not today, started yesterday. I just want your thoughts, generally speaking, as a college athlete, what's your mindset going into winter conditioning? It's the off season. You can see, the first practices of the year on the horizon, but you're not there yet. What's your approach? What's your attitude got to be going into conditioning?
Well, it's definitely areas of weakness, right? That I've maybe saw last year, right? For example, if some things I talk about with Bryce, for example, right? Stands up too straight, probably in his attacking to the basket. So I would take and observe those things throughout my previous year, things that I need to get stronger on, being able to take contact. So I would be looking at maybe upper body strength. I would be looking at my legs and being able to, in the fourth quarter or in the second half, to really have that strength. So I would be considering everything that maybe I faltered on. Maybe I got a little bit tired towards the end of the season. And then I would work on those things to make sure that I'm ready to go and not have that same issue pop up.
When we look back at this Husker football team last year, Strick, getting out of the gate was a struggle sometimes. Nebraska didn't always start the fastest. When you look at the schedule for this next year, Nebraska's got to be ready to come out of the gate. I think you can make an argument for Nebraska being favored in any of its first 7 games, right? In a quest to get back to 6 wins and bowl eligibility and beyond. I think starting fast, going into the season will be huge. You set the tone for that in mat drills. You set the tone for that in winter conditioning, right? Just because it's day one doesn't mean that you're slacking, doesn't mean you're easing into it, right? Hit the ground running. But conversely, we talk about Nebraska sitting at 5-3 going into November, right? With the opportunity to bank wins early in the month before you get to your Big Ten West games against Wisconsin and Iowa. Strict Nebraska didn't do that. Nebraska was let down late in the fourth quarter against Michigan State, against Maryland, and then, of course, against both Wisconsin and Iowa. So just as important as it is for Nebraska to start fast when you look at the schedule and start fast in winter conditioning, for Nebraska to be that 75 rushing yards in the fourth quarter team, for Nebraska to stop letting leads slip away in the fourth quarter, you also have to find a way to dig deep and finish strong too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also find out a lot about what's in the tank, right? You push them, you go to the limit, push to the limit. You find out who's going to be the encouragers, who's going to be the ones that's going to uplift the group, lead the group, not allow their man to fall behind. It's very similar to what you see when men or women go into basic training, or when they go into SEAL training, or when they go into beret training, special forces, anything like that. It's finding out who your weaker links are, who's going to help to pull them up, who's going to encourage them to become better, who's going to challenge them outside of the coaches. You get to see a lot of that stuff, but ultimately you want to know who's going to be in the fight with you, and that's not going to give up. It's not going to quit. It's not going to stop when it gets hard, because these are the hard times. These are the hard moments. These are the times when you don't really want to go, but this is the very important time when you find out these things.
I think that's pretty cool too, that what Matt Rule did last year when he first got here was implement the different teams that would get points for going to events around campus, or service and whatever else that they would earn points for. I believe I've heard reports that system is back, and it's not just position group by position group. It's guys, from different walks of life, from different position groups, different ages, all on teams, right? So you can't just be with your buddies and hold your buddies accountable. You got to get to know everyone on the team, hold, your brother, your teammate to your right and to your left more and more accountable. Strick, as I look at who some of the leaders are going to be for this football team, I go to the lines, offensive and defensive lines. You look at a guy like Ben Scott coming back for another year of college football. Bryce Benhart played better football last year. He's back for another year. And then on the defensive line, maybe the 2 best players on Nebraska's team are on the defensive line, and Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher. And I think that it's going to come from those guys in winter conditioning. They've been through it for a year. They kind of know what to expect. But also, Strick, I think it's symbolic leadership too, right? If you're being the leaders in this winter conditioning, you're telling your teammates and you're telling your coaches exactly what you were saying before. We want to be the reason we win games. As an offensive line, we want to dominate. We want to get pushed and own the fourth quarter. And as a defensive lineman, we're not getting pushed back. We are holding our ground. We're collapsing the pocket. We're going to make everyone else's lives easier. I think that starts here in these first couple weeks of conditioning.
I would have to agree with you. And then you want to get those guys that are going to take the onus of that, right? Let's be honest about it. When Nebraska was at its best, one of the things that they were able to do, they were able to get pressure with only 4. Like their DNs, their D tackles, the Peter brothers, you know, your Wickstrom, your Tomiches, those guys were able to get pressure without having it was like cherry on top when you blitzed. Like it was like the blitzers, the Terrell Farleys, the Jamel Williams, those guys were getting home, like easily getting home because there was so much worry about the double team. And if you mask it enough, they were able to get there and really wreak havoc. And then, you know, you have an Aaron Donald type at one point with Ndamukong Suh, and you were still able to do a lot of that because he commanded and demanded a lot of help, and you were able to do some things that would help that defense out. So I think if they can really take onus, those guys and that are now running this 3-3-5, just figuring out ways that they can be impactful. That means dominating the man in front of you and taking onus of the competition. And even if it's not your chance to make a big play or to get that stop behind the line of scrimmage or whatever the case may be, right? You don't do things like Bosa did in that game where you literally crashed down. That wasn't you. So you're trying to do something. You know what I'm talking about, the play where Mahomes basically faked it in there. And me and Jay Foreman were talking about it in practice. Like, I'm not worried about Pacheco. One, it's going away from me, so that the discipline is Mahomes. Like, I'm going straight at Mahomes, and if he doesn't hand it off, I'm planting him. And if he does hand it off, I'm looking him in the face and let him know, pull that thing if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way that you keep people honest. So basically doing your job, making sure you dominate whoever's in front of you and take the onus of the competition in those matters, and hopefully you can become a better unit, both on the offense and the defensive side.
Absolutely. There are other, leaders on both sides of the ball. I think Jamal Banks has had some pretty good reviews, to transfer wide receiver from Wake Forest. Stephon Thompson, the linebacker from Syracuse that worked with Tony White before. But Strick, the other element of this first winter conditioning that I want your input on is the freshmen, right? Nebraska's got some pretty high impact freshmen on campus already. Carter Nelson is not one of them. He'll join the team this summer. But you look at, obviously, Dylan Raiola, Daniel Kalen's enrolled early. I believe Grant Bricks is down here as well, Gibson Pyle. Strick, these are guys that are young. They're clearly talented. We've been talking about them all offseason. What would be your message to the freshmen as they get their first taste of college and college football conditioning?
One, you got to understand that the speed is definitely going to change. The physicality is going to change. Where you might have 3 guys at a time on a unit that's next level type of guys, 2 at best, a couple. You're now pretty much got a pretty full team of guys that are the best at what they do at the craft. Not the total best, but coming from where they've come from, they're some of the best at what they do. So the competition is going to be high. So if I'm a freshman, I'm looking at, okay, like if I'm Grant Bricks, I'm looking at, okay, my foot speed is good. My ability to do, I'm going to operate in my strengths, but I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to get bulkier. I'm going to make sure that my eating regimen is on point so that I can get some mass, right? To correlate with my foot agility. If I'm a quarterback, I'm working on reading quicker. I'm working on processing a lot quicker. I'm working on getting relationships and timing issues with the receivers that I'm going to be working with in the future. Who do I like? What do I like about them? How well is their ramp running? Can I count on them if I put it in the area? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm starting to do all of those things, trying to figure out who those individuals are and who those people are that you can rely on, who you can count on, or in which ways you can get better. If there's something that if you're used to being able to pop out as a running back and just hit the corner and then, be able to turn the corner and get upfield, that might change. You might become a one-cut guy. Work on your one-cut, seeing the hole, seeing the gap, hitting it, getting upfield quickly, so I would be processing different things, because what you used to do in the high school realm, that stuff ain't going to work anymore. Things that you used to get away with, the mistakes you used to make, that stuff ain't going to work anymore. So you have to work on tidying up on some of those.
How important is it that we hear good things about Dylan Raiola and Daniel Kalen out of winter conditioning? Not even spring ball, but out of winter conditioning.
It's not going to tell you a whole bunch. I mean, obviously, just their abilities to throw and to make the throws, what level of passes in between the seams, outside of the seams, where their strengths are, just identifying those things, and then just being the best at that, what you do well. And then, how fast can they process what they're going to see? I think they got games and stuff, not games, but, not traditional, but things that you can do to see, what you saw as far as videotapes, and you can do it on the computer, and you can figure out kind of what their processing speeds are, what their reads. Okay, what would you do in this situation if this guy got, shift? Like I'm working with them to try to figure out, what they're seeing, and how can we help them to process this information a lot faster.
Let's go to the text line here really quick to finish out the segment. Ryan in Nashville says he still thinks that Thomas Fedoni can be something special. He's a freak specimen. I think he's lost a bit of the freak edge with the 2 knee injuries, Rick. I mean, 1 knee injury is bad enough, but 2 knee injuries, regardless of the sport you play, no matter how good an athlete you were before, you're probably not getting back from 2 knee injuries. But in terms of what's coming in at tight end, to your next question there, Ryan, interesting pieces. Ian Flint, I think, is going to be more of a blocking tight end. He's already 6'4", listed at 255 pounds. I think he's going to be your traditional inline guy. Power.
That's what Fedoni doesn't do.
No.
That's what you talked about, these mat drills. That's the stuff that if I'm the tight end coach, I would literally be focused on, your inline blocking, bro. If you want to, you want to be out here full time, you might want to get, that issue taken care of.
I think that's totally fair. I think Flint does have the ability to catch the ball. I'd say he's a kind of traditional Big Ten tight end. You look at Eric Ingwerson, right? The guy out of Papillion who had committed to Pitt at one point. We talked to Brian Munson about him when he flipped. Another big body streak at 6'6", 250. Again, I think will start more in line and then maybe work his way into some receiving capabilities. You look at Danny King, a 6'4", 225-pound tight end out of Bloomington, Minnesota. Probably more of that hybrid, right? Not quite as thick as Flint and Ingwerson are. So that's 3 tight ends right there on top of Carter Nelson, who's listed as a tight end. I don't know if Nebraska is going to use him like we're thinking about in terms of a traditional tight end. So the jury's definitely still out on that.
With regard to Ingwerson, I think Ingwerson has potential to be. I still would like to see more, but watch out potentially for him as a switchover guy, potentially. Like he has the potential to become, also a pretty good DN with his size and his athleticism and his abilities as well. So if it doesn't work out, or if he's a potential guy who can cross over. It just depends on, how he feels about it.
And we've seen Nebraska's staff be more than willing to do that. You see A.J. Rollins go from tight end to defensive line. You see Ruquan Buckley go from defensive line to offensive line. And that's something I appreciate about the staff, Strick, is that they won't let a guy fall by the wayside or move on from a guy until they've done everything in their power to make him a better football player, to try to find the right fit at a position for a guy, which I think is pretty neat. He's Strick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket. Big thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring the show. Check them out down at 29th and Pine Lake. When we get back, we're going to go through the Big Ten football head coaches. What are the tiers? What are the rankings? Where does Matt Rule fit? Where do the new hires fit in the Big Ten? We'll go through that and plenty more to come on the Big Ten and Husker football front here throughout the show. Don't go anywhere. More On the Block comes your way in just a minute.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
power combo BOGO? Huh?
Yes, if you purchase an air conditioner, you receive a furnace completely free. At John Henry's, our professionals want to ensure you are comfortable in your home all year long, no matter what Nebraska has to throw at us. Call today to schedule your free estimate and learn more about the free furnace waiting for you. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
The electrical construction industry. The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through February 20th are fresh cut ribeye for just $17.99 per pound and buy two, get one free on Montoya potato gnocchi. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Acres is bringing you the nation's largest indoor display of John Deere equipment and technology. Acres 2024 Ag and Turf Expo showcases everything from tillage and planting to application and harvest. We'll also offer the latest industry insights from ag professionals across the state. Join us at the Sandhills Global Event Center March 6th and 7th or Fauner Park March 21st and 22nd. Go to acres.com/expo24 for a complete schedule of speakers and activities.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
For on a thirsty Thursday, we thank you for tuning in and joining in. Thanks again to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul that continuously supports this particular podcast on a given day. 402-464-5685. Sutter Hammond Jewelers video stream is where you see me on, and you can tap in on the Sutter Hammond text line there in order to join into the conversation as well. We're going to get into a little conversation regarding Big Ten football, the coaching carousels, as well as where do we feel they shape up and what do they look like? And Austin, you know, with the new additions, with some of the carousels, with some of the changes, some of the adjustments, UCLA is, acquiring a new coach and as well as Washington. So some of the newcomers are going to come in with new coaches. Obviously, we know what happened up in Northwestern, so there's going to be new coaches there, and the departure of Harbaugh. So we're going to get into that, kind of see where they are, where they fit, what are their tiers, what are the thoughts about what they can do and the changes that they can make. Are guys like Fickle up in Wisconsin going to take a turn for the better and see how their program goes and the adjustments that they're going to make? So we're going to dive into it, but let's start first, obviously, with some controversy that had sparked with hazing and so forth and so on, and has now been taken over the Northwestern head coach. And just first of all, the job that he did, you know, after all the craziness, the fact that they were able to win games and handle business in the absence of Pat Fitzgerald, the longtime head coach there for Northwestern. But the Wildcats are now the first FBS team in making a coaching change that involved Fitzgerald after so long in the tenure that he had and being fired in 2023. So they finished 8-5 with a win over a very strong Utah team out of the Pac-12. So what is your view of this Northwestern team now? What probably do you expect? And are they going to be able to make the changes or, replenish some of the losses that they're going to have?
Yeah, so as I look especially at their head coach, David Braun, I don't exactly know what to make of him. First-year guy thrust into the role in the interim capacity, like you were just saying, Strick. Right now, he's a one-year wonder, right? He made the jump from North Dakota State's defensive coordinator to Northwestern, where he was supposed to be the defensive coordinator. Incredible job in getting them to 7 regular season wins and the 8th in the bowl game against Utah, like they mentioned. For right now, he's a one-year wonder. Right. Anyone can have a season like that. Now, given the circumstances, he did it under the talent level that we assume Northwestern had. I want to give him credit for it, but I still want to see more, which is why as I think through, some of the Big Ten head coaches, Strick, a guy that I'm going to put at a similar level to David Braun is Jedd Fisch at Washington. The two purple teams in the Big Ten. Jedd Fisch, had big turnaround at Arizona from just a couple wins to a really good season last year. You look at guys like Noah Fafita, Jacob Cowing that he brought in. I think Jedd Fisch is a good coach, but he feels a little like kind of one-year wonderish to me, right? Just to skip so many steps from 2 wins to 9 or 10 wins is doable, but it seems like a little bit of a meteoric rise. So I want to give Jedd Fisch credit for that. I want to give David Braun credit for the job he was able to do in 2 wildly different situations. But I honestly put those 2 guys on pretty similar equal footing right now.
All right. Well, another team that had some controversy in a different way out of the Big Ten is Michigan State, who obviously had Mel Tucker as their coach. Less than 2 years after signing a 10-year, $95 million contract extension He was suspended without pay on September the 10th, where then he was fired a few weeks later due to the allegations of sexual misconduct. So, allegedly. So what we find there is obviously Coach Barnett was named the interim coach. They lost the first 6 games. Finished at 4-8. Ultimately, one of those wins was against Nebraska, which unbelievable to my mind. It kept them from a bowl game. I thought that was the one they should have banked. But they end up, Alan Haller is their AD. He ends up doing a very quiet, low-key search and ends up pulling Oregon State's Coach Smith to come over and fill that void. Jonathan Smith obviously had a really good run with Oregon State this year. So he was kind of a coveted guy looking to make a leap, looking to make a jump. And here he is now with a 7-year, $52 million contract. And he's going to be bringing 6 assistants with him as well. So what's your thoughts on that move?
Jonathan Smith is, as we would say on this program, Nick's boy, right? Not my boy, not your boy. He's Nick's boy. I like Jonathan Smith, though. I think he's a good coach. Returned to his alma mater at Oregon State, a program that, we know of from the Mike Riley days, was kind of in the dumps again, right after Gary Anderson left, everything that's gone on with that program. Jonathan Smith did an admirable job, right? He turned Washington State into a legitimate top 25 team, borderline top 15 at times this year as well. Did it through defense, good enough quarterback play, with, again, Nick's boy, DJ Uiagalelei, out there at quarterback. So he proved he could handle the transfer portal and go get big enough names to help, but he did it with a lot of internal development as well. I've seen enough of Jonathan Smith to say I trust him as a program builder. I think he fits the Michigan State ethos of defense first, hard-nosed, bring skill position guys as they come, which is why, Strick, when I look at, the Big Ten coaches again as a whole, I have him in the bottom of this kind of tier, but on a similar level to Matt Rule, Greg Schiano, and PJ Fleck. As you look at those guys in the tier with Jonathan Smith, we know the 1 year that Minnesota had with PJ Fleck where they win 10 games, they're undefeated with Penn State coming to town for College game day. I don't know what Minnesota's ultimate ceiling is, but they've been generally solid. Greg Schiano, resurrected Rutgers to a bowl game. I don't think he gets them to the 10-win heights he did in his first stint there, but I think Schiano's well respected. I think that's about as good as Rutgers can do with a guy that understands what Rutgers is as a university, the landscape of the Big Ten and of recruiting the Northeast portion of the Big Ten. And I think Matt Rule's in that category too as a builder, right? What he did at Temple and Baylor, some of the signs we saw from Nebraska in year one. As I look at that group, it's hard for me to say Matt Rule has accomplished the most, but I think he's had the most drastic turnarounds when you look at those programs. Schiano, the second go-around hasn't been quite as good as the first go-around, but he's an experienced college football coach. And even PJ Fleck up at Minnesota's just Minnesota. That's really all they are, right? For as much as PJ Fleck talks, as brash as he is, Minnesota's just kind of there, right? You have to take him seriously, but not too seriously. And I think Jonathan Smith fits with all 3 of those guys in a culture first, build for the long-term sort of mentality. He's just the youngest of that group.
Well, let's run through and talk about the 2. We can merge them together. The 2 teams that ultimately found their way into the college football playoff final, and that is Washington as well as Michigan. Obviously, Kalen DeBoer departs and heads down south into the SEC country and takes over from a legendary coach, Nick Saban. And there on arrival, we'll see how things go for him. But in the meantime, in between time, a new coach has then raised up, and his name is Jedd Fisch. Jedd Fisch has now taken over for them, who has previous Big Ten experience working at Michigan from 2015 and 16, and then in Minnesota in 2009. He signs a 7-year contract worth an average of $7.7 million a year. And he's got a lot to make up for. Obviously, losing quarterback and Heisman Trophy, you're one of the best quarterbacks at the time, in Michael Penix Jr. Then you look at Michigan at the same time. Sharon Moore, we know what he did in the absence, in the suspension of Jim Harbaugh, how the team took a liking to him, how his emotions and his passion for the game, but he takes over a program that he has also a lot to replace in that J.J. McCarthy and running back Blake Corum. Obviously, Edwards will return, but there's a lot that they need to make up there. What's your perspective on both of those teams? Who's going to be all right, who's not, and who's got the most to make up?
I think Washington's probably got more to make up, but I don't think Michigan is going to be great either. I think Michigan's going to kind of slip back to early Harbaugh. I just don't know about Sharon Moore is the thing. How involved was he with everything going on? How many head coach duties did he fully take over in his interim time filling in for Jim Harbaugh over the suspension? Don't get me wrong, Sharon Moore can coach some football. I love him as an offensive line coach. You know, if you look at the guys up and down the Big Ten, I mean, Sharon Moore's probably the best at coaching a position in the business in the Big Ten right now. As a head coach, that is. I mean, what Brian Hartline's done with the receivers at Ohio State is absolutely spectacular. I just am not sold on Sharon Moore as a head coach. He hasn't done it before outside of an interim basis. Until he proves otherwise, Strick, I'm going to give Jim Harbaugh and Harbaugh's infrastructure more credit for how Sharon Moore was able to do as Michigan's interim head coach for those few games than I am himself. He's really got a lot on his plate to prove, and it's going to be an uphill battle with, again, what we assume are looming NCAA sanctions and having 18 players invited to the NFL draft combine. That's a lot he's got to replace, along with the staff that got raided that Jim Harbaugh is helping take with him out to Los Angeles to coach the Chargers. So I think Washington lost, maybe more important players, which is weird to say given, the numbers that Michigan lost. But I trust Michigan's depth of talent a little more than Washington, but I don't think either of those teams breaks 9 wins. Maybe they hit 9, but no more than that.
Yeah, I got you. You want to take a break and just do the quickly do the $30. We have a $30 giveaway, obviously, by way of trivia. We're going to do that. We could take a break and then we could do the trivia and maybe continue on and finish up, because a lot of them are those who will be returning. It'll be easy to kind of push them all together, but then really want to talk also, don't want to leave out 2 potential situations with Iowa as well as UCLA, and I would love to talk about that when we get back. But we're going to take a quick break right here on the block and return and do trivia. Be ready, take a look on that, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the Big Ten football coaches. We'll be right back.
You want to make new floor shopping easier? Come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild. But we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through February 20th are fresh cut ribeye for just $17.99 per pound and buy two, get one free on Montoya potato gnocchi. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings. The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Thursday, February 15th versus the Vegas Thrill at the Dollar Loan Center in Las Vegas. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 8 p.m. with first serve at 9. Make sure to tune in to the Next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Koppel truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at KoppelCars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block, Austin Norman and Erick Strickland with you. Normally, this time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we play the shootout with Strick, but with Strictly Remote, we are just going to make this easier. So we're going to do it in the format of tiebreaker. I'll ask Strick a question. He will give a number, and the first texter in, and not first texter. What's a good number today, Stricky? 4? Okay. Texter number 4 with the correct answer, over or under. Push, I suppose, over, under, or push. Texter number 4 will get the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All right, Strick, here's the question, kind of setting the stage for our next segment. How many Husker volleyball players have been named to any Olympic volleyball team? How many former
throughout the career?
Throughout the history of Husker volleyball, how many former Husker volleyball players have been named to any Olympic volleyball team?
11.
Okay, there we go. Stricky's guess is 11. Texter number 4 with the correct answer, over, under, or push, will earn the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All right, Stricky, to wrap up our discussion on the football coaches in the Big Ten, you said Iowa and UCLA. What are your questions there?
So, yeah, when you look at the continuation of the football spectrum, let's just go with UCLA first, because they're going to be a newcomer. Chip Kelly has left and bolted and ran out and looking for greener pastures. But at the end of the day, Deshaun Foster is going to be their new leader of that program. And, Kelly obviously had spent the last 6 years there. He has a winning record. He was interviewed as an NFL coordinator and ultimately decided he wanted to go and just kind of sit coy in the cut and see what goes on with Ryan Day. And either he can propel it, or he can either be the back savior if Ryan Day gets ousted out of there. So that's what we're looking at with UCLA. And then, to tie into that, you obviously have the situation with Kirk Ferentz there with Iowa and what the situation is going to be with him. He has one of the longest tenures in FBS at 24 years now. They've got a lot of work that they needed to do. Obviously, his son gets pushed out the door. Where they go from here, they need to revamp, they need to change, and they need to upgrade in the offensive spectrum, or they're just not going to be able to continue the success that they have. What's your initial thoughts on those two programs?
For UCLA, it feels like they didn't put full effort into the coaching search. Perhaps, I know it's late in the cycle, but I think they took the simple way, which maybe questioning their effort is unfair. But you saw, other places go out and do due diligence, right? Hire guys away late. Why wouldn't UCLA do that? If UCLA takes itself seriously as a football program, I think it conducts a bit of a longer search, and maybe it still settles on Deshaun Foster, former player. He's been there for 9 years as a running backs coach, but it really seems like this was an attempt to really jumpstart boosters more than the football program, right? An okay football program, solid football program that has a lot of questions going into a new conference. I feel like UCLA...
I think it saved money, too. I think it was a big money saver to kind of give them a chance to see kind of how things go. But, yeah, continue.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, right? Save money on his salary, try to get his alumni connection to fire up boosters to some degree to get the NIL on the up and up. So I can see where they're coming from, but I still think UCLA could have done better than a first-time head coach navigating the choppy waters of a rather difficult schedule and a new conference. Then when it comes to Iowa, their offensive coordinator hire, Tim Lester, didn't have many people enthused, didn't coordinate a lot of good offenses in his time in college. I think he has head coaching experience. Maybe he's a guy that, is looked at to take over for Kirk Ferentz. But, man, Strick, Iowa, won 10 games last year. Don't feel like they should have at all, but they did. And I think Iowa's going to be better this year than they were last year. McNamara's back. Lachey will be back from injury. Another year of LaShawn Williams. You have Jay Higgins back in the middle as a great linebacker. Sebastian Castro, the defensive back, comes back. I think Iowa's going to be better, but how much more does Kirk Ferentz have in the tank, right? He made the change. Didn't seem like he wanted to make the change, and I think you can tell he didn't want to make the change because it seemed like an uninspired head coaching hire. New AD, Beth Getz, has a decision to make, right? Kirk Ferentz is a lifer, really, at Iowa, with the Hayden Fry coaching tree and everything that we know Kirk Ferentz stands for and has done at Iowa, but it's starting to feel a little Belichick-esque at Iowa, I'm not going to lie.
Real quick, let's run through the one season guys we talked about. You've already mentioned Matt Rule. You have Ryan Walters at Purdue and Luke Fickell. They're the one season guys. I'll let you succinctly, deal with them, but so we can get to a quick break. UCLA, the 2 season guys, both Dan Lanning as well as Lincoln Riley. They're in their second seasons. Illinois coach Brett Bielema is in his 3rd season. Shiano, you did mention already. We talked about the 5 season guys, except for Mike Loxley, because Ryan Day is the 5 season guy at Ohio State. And then the 10 season guy outside the longest tenure guy is James Franklin at Penn State. Let's go there. And your thoughts initially. You can run through the bottom half, but I really want to get you, before we get to break, to talk about James Franklin in his 10th season. What he needs to do. Is he hot seat? And if he doesn't do it, do they make a move?
3 letters, Strick, POB. And no, Husker fans, I'm not talking about Patrick O'Brien. Playoff or bust. That's what it is. They've been on the doorstep. They've had rosters that are as talented or close to Ohio State and Michigan. They haven't gotten past that hurdle, right? I think James Franklin is a good coach. By the passing year, I don't think he's a national championship coach. Curious to see how Dan Lanning handles the transition to the Big Ten. He's another guy that feels like he's had a bit of a meteoric rise these last few years. He's a good coach, but if he's the best or second best coach in the Big Ten, I don't know about that, right? I think he's still got more to prove. Kind of same with Ryan Day, kind of starting to get to that James Franklin boat, maybe, a step or two ahead of Franklin because he's been to the playoff before. But, if you're not going to beat Michigan this year with everything going on in that program, I don't know when you're going to beat them. Lincoln Riley's on the hot seat. They're not making the playoffs, so I think he's looking for the eject button. Bielema is good. He's solid. Big Ten as they get. Fickle is the one I'm most curious to see. Wisconsin, went to the portal for some big names again, lose some big names as well. So of all of the coaches there, Strick, I'm most interested to see how Dan Lanning fares and what the encore is for Luke Fickell.
There it is. A little breakdown. If you have any thoughts on what you think about the coaches in the Big Ten, the newcomers, as well as our own Matt Rule, you're welcome to chime in at 402-464-5685. Who won, Austin?
Dave won. Dave, you are the winner. The answer was under 11 because the answer, Stricky, is 9 players for Husker volleyball that have made Olympic teams. That's a really good guess. The list for people, Kathy Noth was an alternate in 88, Lori Endicott in 92 and 96. You have Allison Weston in 2000, Nancy Metcalf 2004, Jordan Larson in 2012, 16, and 21. Kelsey Robinson, 2016, 2021, Kayla Banworth, 2016. You've got Sarah Pavin, beach volleyball for Canada in 2016 and 21, and the most recent Olympian for Husker volleyball, Justine Wong-Orantes.
There it is. Yeah, that's going to lead us into a break for the second hour. We're going to come back in the second hour. We're going to talk a little bit about USA volleyball, where they may land. The Big Ten football win totals. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And then we'll cross it over with old school. Second half of On the Block. We'll be right back. 937 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Koppel truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at KoppelCars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
We're speaking to Husker baseball assistant Lance Harvell.
Seemed like there was a pretty heavy focus on the JUCO ranks this offseason. What went into the decision behind that approach?
There's something about junior college baseball. You know, if you've been through it, you know that life, what it's about. You number one, you gotta have a passion to play baseball. You gotta grind. These guys are tough. They're playing doubleheaders, every time out. So you know kind of what you're getting.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Thursday, February 15th versus the Vegas Thrill at the Dollar Loan Center in Las Vegas. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 8 p.m. with first serve at 9. Make sure to tune in to the Next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 of the show comes your way here on a Thirsty Thursday. Thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring the show. If you've got any thoughts on anything we're talking about, hit us up on the text line 402-464-5685. I'm Austin Norman. He's Erick Strickland. Stricky, we're just going to dive right into this. I saw this article come across yesterday, and I think it's fascinating for the long-term ramifications for the sport of volleyball in the state of Nebraska, right? So the Omaha World Herald wrote an article yesterday saying that there's a guy, Rod Yates is his name. He's the owner of the Nebraska Crossing Outlets. I'm sure most of our Nebraska audience is familiar with that, just outside of Gretna, just off I-80 there, mile marker 432. The owner there, Rod Yates, is saying he's in, quote, the final stages of putting together an agreement to relocate Team USA volleyball facilities to Gretna, to this new Good Life district that he's helping build from Anaheim, California. That's just a wild thought. First of all, you think about, Stanford volleyball, you think of USC, UCLA volleyball, just what the state of California has meant to the game of volleyball. Moving the Team USA training facilities from warm weather, Anaheim, sunny California to Gretna seems like a wild thought. But Yates hasn't been alone on this, right? He's had the help of John Cook. Yeah, Nebraska head volleyball coach John Cook, who he reached out to and said, hey, what would it take to get in contact with USA Volleyball to pitch them this plan to bring USA Volleyball here to Nebraska. Cook got him in contact. And again, Yates is saying they're really close to an agreement on a new $150 to $200 million facility for Team USA Volleyball in or just outside of this Good Life district in Gretna. Just that thought of bringing something so important, Team USA Volleyball, constant silver medalist, finally got over the hump against Brazil and won a gold medal. To have that in Nebraska, to have that just outside of Omaha, given what the state of Nebraska has meant for the sport of volleyball, getting the Team USA facilities in Nebraska would be an incredible accomplishment for the state.
Well, first and foremost, the incredible accomplishment has been with John Cook and the success that he's had for volleyball here in the state. We've seen the emergence of the club volleyball teams that have also continued to have and do well, both in the regional and the national circuit. Then you look at the fact that Nebraska accomplished one of the greatest feats, which is breaking the record for largest women's sports in history, or the sports event in history. And listen, that puts a microscope on you. That puts the hourglass on. I mean, not hourglass, but the eyeglass. The eyeglass. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when the sun shines through that and it's focused on a specific spot, and that's in Nebraska, you get heat. And there's a lot of heat right now, and people are looking at and understanding. And you've got the history of what Nebraska football has always been. So you're just seeing there is a willingness to have it. There is support here. They see what happens consistently with the College World Series and how Nebraska and how the state handles it, and with class and professionalism and the people and just the enjoyment that they do have in the time that they spend here. Why not? And I think a lot of that comes from what transpired with John Cook and what they did on that wonderful event there in Memorial Stadium. Over 90,000 fans showed up for that. That really brought a lot of eye to it. And then just the craziness that's going on in California. You already have a lot of big businesses leaving. Standard of living is phenomenal. The people are phenomenal. And what better place to have it in the central part of the country to draw more and more people to the sport.
I know you're partial to Omaha. You're an Omaha guy. I'm partial to Lincoln. I'm a Lincoln guy. It's definitely closer on the Omaha end of things, but it's close enough that I won't necessarily fight on that. I think it's interesting too, because Yates got in contact with Cook after a new bill that was passed last year in the Nebraska legislature, LB 1374, which really, Strick, is about using tax credits and sales tax revenue to help developers build these districts, right? This new Good Life district that Yates is planning to build is where this new facility would go. Cook described in the article the Anaheim facilities as, quote, abysmal, right? They don't have places to live for people that are there year round, or athletes that come for weeks, months at a time for training camp. So this wouldn't be just a random facility plopped down in the middle of nowhere. It would be a legitimate, living, entertainment, team facility district with houses or apartments, places for them to stay. Supposed to be a big economic boost for Gretna and for the entire state of Nebraska. I'm glad you brought up the magnifying glass, right, for Volleyball Day in Nebraska that drew the 92,003 number that has become associated with that event. Also tying into that, Strick, the Supernovas, right? We hear them here on our airways. We'll hear them tonight starting, I think it's a 6 o'clock pregame out there. So at 8 o'clock pregame, 9 o'clock first serve locally, DP and Coach Saunders on the call. But Strick, you see the success of the Supernovas, the crowd they've been able to draw early, and they have Olympians up and down the league, right? Not just on the Supernovas roster, but Olympians playing domestically, even foreign Olympians coming to America to play. To be able to have the Supernovas just up the road in downtown Omaha, the Team USA facility that sounds like is coming to Gretna, Husker volleyball just down the road, on top of the club scene, on top of Creighton volleyball, UNO that made the tournament, the great volleyball at the Division II NAIA levels, all over the state. That's an incredible stretch of volleyball all the way down, Interstate 80. Economically, it seems like it'd be a good thing. And just for the growth of the game of volleyball, the way it's exploded in Nebraska, I think there's legitimately the infrastructure to make this work, and that people from the outside won't have as many questions because they see the volleyball infrastructure at all levels in Nebraska.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, and I think that's truly the case. And then when you turn it over, and then you look also with how things are going with the Stars, you have the Omaha Racers right up the road, and then the NHL commissioner Gary Bettman, he basically says that they're about at the All-Star weekend, and they're talking about potential cities and sites during that weekend after a press conference. And one of the things about it is that he says, and I quote, "There seems to be an increasing and vibrant expression of interest in having NHL teams in places that there aren't." And so when you look at it, Omaha is basically listed as one of those 5 teams to secure a new franchise. And that's beautiful for the state, because I just, for so long, they've been passed over for baseball, and they've continuously done well in the grand scheme of things. But you're just starting to see a lot more people get a better understanding as to what Omaha can offer. They've got to know something, because they're expanding the airport. They're trying to expand the airport. I still think it was dumb. I thought they should have put it somewhere in the middle of Lincoln, the middle of Lincoln, and a big one, a nice size one, because if you're really trying to do this, you want to make sure you have infrastructure. Because just think of how hard I traveled during that time, Austin. Just think of how hard it is for those people to get in, get out during these big events, and then, prices go through the roof. So it's kind of crazy. So I would love for them to continue to build the infrastructure as well as they prepare, and they're starting to get that light shined on them.
That's just the thing, right? I think the airport idea between Lincoln and Omaha would help Lincoln too, right? Right now, we have the Lincoln airport, we have Eppley up in Omaha, but if you can combine the resources from those 2 airports to build a bigger one, I think that would almost be, a wise sort of consolidation, conglomeration. We'll see if that ever comes to pass. But I want to throw this to the text line, 402-464-5685, and of course the stream comment sections as well. Hockey in Nebraska. What are your thoughts? Obviously, we love everything that we do here with the Lincoln Stars. Appreciate Coach Russo and Joel for their work on Outside the Box with Coach Russo, the players that stop by. You've got the Strickland 20 or 21 jersey from them. We appreciate the Stars. We know we have Tri-City. We have the Omaha Lancers, right? I'm partial to the Mavs, right? Omaha hockey, really the flagship program up there at that university that's made the Frozen Four, that's a contender in the NCHC. I know Nebraska isn't exactly a hockey hotbed or cold bed, I guess, right? But text line and comment section, my question to you is, would you be interested in having a legitimate, NHL team in Omaha, or more likely in that Good Life district near the Team USA volleyball facility around Gretna? I'm not the biggest, hockey guy, Strick. I haven't been to that many hockey games, but I think it would be, again, incredibly legitimizing for the city of Omaha. It's kind of close to Lincoln too, but really the entire state of Nebraska, Strick, to be able to lay claim to a professional team, right? I get we have the Supernovas, the first professional team to come to Nebraska. That absolutely counts, right? That's still a startup league that's trying to find its footing. We wish the best for the Pro Volleyball Federation. That's why we're throwing our support behind it here at 93.7 The Ticket. But for one of the established Big Four leagues to choose Omaha, to choose Nebraska as a hometown for an expansion team, that would absolutely send a message to the professional sports world.
No doubt about it. I mean, because down the road you have Kansas City with obviously now their light is shining, and the Royals down there. They used to have basketball down there, and the Kings, and they used to be down there, but you don't find it in the Midwest anymore. And I think they're hungry for it, and I think they would support it. They would go out. Nebraskans love just a nice game, a nice beer, and just a little bit of atmosphere to take their kids and family to. Just a little. They really support that. And keep your eyes on again. Nebraska is going to get the first and second round of basketball. And I think that's just so dope for the sport. I mean, CHI is going to be rocking. I'm looking forward to that happening. And I think depending on how things go with that, you're gonna continue to see eyes poking in and checking it out and see what's going on here at Omaha.
I think Lincoln's getting closer to that as well, right? Pinnacle Bank Arena is just as good a venue as the CHI Health Center. I think it would be absolutely rocking for NCAA tournament games as well. But that Lincoln infrastructure's got to go, right? Omaha's a great event city, having everything downtown, being so close to the airport, all the hotels. That's why the College World Series. That's why the NCAA tournament, the curling trials, the swim trials.
Yeah,
that's why stuff like that goes so well in Omaha, because it's set up for events. I think Lincoln can get there, but that's why I think everything is starting in Omaha. It's still more of the hub right now. Couple things from the text line here for you, Strick. So Dalton is saying, I would love an NHL team here in Nebraska, but I'm not sure it would survive. That's a fair worry, right? And I don't think the NHL would put a team in Omaha, maybe in Gretna, but they would call it Omaha, I assume, if they didn't think it had legitimate long-term viability. I know franchises can move around and bounce around, but I would hope that as a state, if you are honestly rewarded with a professional franchise from one of the big four established leagues in American sports, that even if you're not a hockey fan, you would have some, dare I say, civic pride, right? And go to these games to support the team because of how legitimizing it would be on a national scale, right? You saw what Vegas did when they popped up their first few years, as the Knights were one of the first teams in town. You saw what Seattle did to support the Kraken when they were added up there. So I think that given enough time, Nebraska fans would come around to hockey. I really do. I don't think it would be just, Mavs fans and Stars fans and Lancers fans going. I think the draw of a professional team would have an allure to draw people in, kind of like the Supernovas have, with their great crowds that they've started out with. But I also think the NHL and the developers would be wise to not start too big, right? Don't build a 15,000 seat hockey arena in a market that doesn't have a lot of hockey, right? Baxter holds 7,200, 8,000 people. Maybe build it for 10, right? So you can have some concerts and other events there, but you're not going to build this huge, massive arena and let the team fail, right? I think it'd be better to start it smaller and have more demand, right? Outgrow the building soon, fine, but don't start too big and have it look empty on TV. Start small and make it look packed and give people the opportunity to really, sink their teeth into a young, growing franchise.
I mean, the infrastructure is already there. Like you said, you can either use Baxter, expand that, or you can, which is pretty centralized, or you can still use CHI. I mean, CHI is still a great venue for that. Really, the only ones or twos that are in there is the Creighton teams. So, yeah, I think that could be coordinated between those two venues as an opportunity to start small. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even do an NHL stadium, to be honest, unless there was an NBA team that said, hey, we're going to expand into here. But the problem with that is I do not see that happening anytime soon. The NBA already has its own trouble that they're going to have to deal with, especially with new collective bargaining agreement and TV deal. Now, well, not collective bargaining, but the TV deal. I think they're a few years away from CBA, but I think there was a mini extension. But I do want to say that with the new TV deal that's coming up, and it's going to tell a lot, but definitely expansion is not in the works, I don't believe, for basketball.
No, I'm with you. Not for 10 years?
Yeah, it's going to be a while. Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Which is where Disc Golf Jake on the text line said NHL would be cool, NBA would be cooler. If the NBA is to expand, I don't think Omaha's on the radar for the NBA. I think Kansas City would be first. You see maybe like a Nashville, but I think they go back to Seattle before they go anywhere else, right? I think that's a great basketball community that's proven it can support the Sonics. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, Strick, you're an NBA guy. I know more basketball than I do hockey. I'd probably prefer an NBA team, but I think being able to start with hockey a little bit smaller on the national scale, you got to start somewhere, right? To start with an NBA team, I think would be a tough jumping off point. So show that you can support a viable NHL team here first. Give Kansas City the NBA. They have that. They had the infrastructure before, longer than Omaha has with the Royals. So I'm with you. I don't think the NBA is anywhere in the plans, but an NHL team is still freaking dope.
Yeah, I like that. But I also would say that when you think about the basketball part of it, there's like you said, Kansas City's cool, but Omaha, I don't think is ready. I want to throw this out, Austin. Like, when you think about basketball, like what teams now are in markets that you would say could be shifted? Like, for me, to be honest, I don't know if they would do this just because of their previous and past success, but Detroit is a place that I would probably say, let's find another location or place. If you're going to add a team, yeah, Seattle would be one. But then guess what? The one that's going to be first on the list, unfortunately, is going to be Vegas.
Right.
That's going to be first on the list. And the reason is like you said, with the Knights, and now they got a WNBA team that has won multiple championships, and they're excited about that. And then also with NFL there and just having a Super Bowl, if you're going to look at a shift or a place or another team that's going to move over, you're looking at that. I'm going to be honest, it could be Oklahoma City. So I think it's going to be one or two teams that are already in cities that they're going to be looking at and saying, we've been here. The market's just not functioning the way that we like it. Vegas would probably be a better venue for it. And they've been testing it with a lot of USA basketball and different events that they do there. They kind of been testing the marketplace. But do you need two teams in LA? I don't know.
I think you keep both LA teams. It wouldn't shock me, though, to see the Nets move. I think the Nets move before the Clippers. The team out west, though, that I could see moving would be Portland. Honestly, which stinks to say, that's a proud franchise. But I just feel like Portland needs a spark right now, Stricky.
Yeah. Portland. Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
We do have a couple more texts, but we are up against a break. We'll get to your text, and then we'll dive into some Big Ten win totals. That's right. We've got some preseason win totals out before spring practice. We'll throw some of those numbers out there, tell you if we like them or we don't. Come back with us here during On the Block. He's Strick. I'm Austin. More On the Block in a moment.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals, located in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Thursday, February 15th versus the Vegas Thrill at the Dollar Loan Center in Las Vegas. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 8 p.m. with first serve at 9. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch ticket and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through February 20th are fresh cut ribeye for just $17.99 per pound and buy two, get one free on Montoya potato gnocchi. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Healing the heart takes heart. Our dedicated team of cardiac experts is here for you with breakthrough treatments for serious conditions and expert advice for living longer with a healthier heart. We bring healing care to our community with over 90 cardiology specialists and subspecialists and more than 50 locations across Nebraska, Southwest Iowa, and Northern Kansas. Find out how we heal hearts with heart, starting with yours at chihealth.com/heart.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Anarchy, which is an exciting free workout for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who want the most out of their workout. Anarchy can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.5% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of February. When you purchased a pre-owned S or X Series combine from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. View our current inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Koppel truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. The best way to strengthen our economy for the long term is investing in our education system and raising the skills of American workers. To succeed in the global economy, we need to modernize our schools, hire excellent teachers, and focus on the future. Support great public schools, and we can make the good life even better.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back during On the Block. Austin Norman and Erick Strickland is with you for another half an hour or so. Before we get to the text line, worth pointing out that Husker Volleyball did release its Big Ten opponents today. You don't need to spend much time on this here, Stricky, but the notable home-only matches will be Nebraska getting Minnesota, UCLA, and USC at home. The road-only matches will be against Oregon, Penn State, and Washington. And then Nebraska plays both Iowa and Wisconsin at home and on the road, along with Illinois. Okay, to the text line we go, 402-464-5685. 2287 asks, for a professional team, don't you need all of the entertainment surrounding the venue to make it successful, aka the bar scene, restaurants, and hotels? Are they planning to create all of this in Nebraska Crossing? So I must have done a bad job explaining this. What's going to happen is the guy that owns Nebraska Crossing is building a new district, right? He's calling it the Good Life District right now. It would be somewhere in Gretna, around Gretna, 200 acres of a new district, right? That would house potentially Team USA Volleyball, potentially this NHL expansion program, but also, apartments, places to live, an entertainment district with the restaurants, with the hotels, with the shopping and everything like that. And that's really what we're seeing, Strick, now is more a shift to, downtown stadiums or entertainment venues and districts around stadiums. So yes, that does go a long way. And that's all part of the plan for getting Team USA Volleyball and this potential NHL team to Gretna/Omaha.
Yeah, it's part of the preparation plan. It comes from the model of if you build it, they'll come, right? And like you said, it's no different than what the Adelson family is trying to do now with the Dallas Mavericks. They're getting ahead of it. Like now, these next 6 years, their lease at American Airlines Center is up in 2030. But we know what their real plan is. Their real plan is to have a location and to build gambling facilities all around it with the arena there and hotels and all that stuff. That's the goal. And now the preparation work is being done, and that they're lobbying, doing a lot of lobbying and trying to get the licensing, because realizing and recognizing Texas is realizing and recognizing as well that over 1 million folks exit and go just across the border to Oklahoma to get their gamble in. So they're just kind of playing with that situation. That's what Nebraska, in essence, is saying. Look, we're going to put together these nice facilities. It's going to be welcoming. It's going to be home. We know the success that they already have here. Here's what we can sell. And they're going to look at it as an opportunity to do that. Now, I can assume it's going to be near the crossing. Guess why? Shopping. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have all this facilities. You're going to have these little restaurants. You're going to have all these little things and these living facilities. But guess where they need to go? Get some stuff right over there. So I'm not saying it's connected, but I'm saying it's going to be probably walking distance or some form of a connection, because he wants to liven up his business model. Shoot, his business model there at the crossing.
Right. I mean, you've already got it built up. Why would you build another one to compete with it, right? Just use the existing infrastructure and build off of it from there. I'm going to use the example of Kansas City, right, where they have the T-Mobile Center, now formerly the Sprint Center, there downtown, versus where they have Arrowhead and Kauffman, outside of downtown. It's a drive away. And both of those stadiums are nice enough, right? Kauffman Stadium got the renovation 10, 15 years ago. It's wonderful. I love Kauffman Stadium in its current incarnation. It's great for tailgating. It's great to go to the game. There's just nothing else there. Same for a Chiefs game, right? One of the best tailgate scenes in the NFL. We've heard Jay talk about that time and time again, about all the barbecue he's gotten walking through on his way to games as a Bill and a Texan. But I'm also a sucker for downtown Kansas City, right? Having been to games at the T-Mobile Center, hearing the great reviews from the Big 12 tournament when it's held in Kansas City, seeing the celebrations that pop off in the Power and Light District when the Chiefs win, or in my case when the Royals won the World Series. I like downtown Kansas City. Do I think that the public should be paying even half of a stadium? No, I think these billionaires that want new stadiums should pay the majority of it themselves, right? But if there is going to be public utility out of these, I think it's fair for the public to chip in to some degree. But that's where the plans and the designs for the new Royals Stadium, probably still Kauffman Stadium, it's the stadium here, hotels around on one side, right? The entertainment on the other side, and a walking bridge, a pedestrian bridge over the road to get you back downtown to the T-Mobile Center, into the Power and Light District, right? That's just kind of the way things are moving, is more that downtown encased in entertainment sort of venue. Because, Strick, we've seen the prices of tickets soar, right? They're exorbitant. It's tough to go to a game now, much tougher than it probably ever has been, relative to, a percentage of disposable income for people. So people are going to games less, right? Especially in cold weather areas, right? Where there's snow, there's weather to deal with, where there's not necessarily parking around. So if you have more to do, you can turn the stadium and the surrounding area into a place to be 365 days of the year, rather than 41 times for an NBA team, 81 times for an MLB team, or, 8 or 9 times for an NFL team.
Yeah. It's you're able to kind of grow the economy, right? These venues are set for the economy, the growth of the overall economy. That's why, whenever the World Series comes in here, it's very accommodating in the areas and the people, and it just really boosts the economy. And you can tell how much it hurt us when COVID hit. It hurt the actual economy some. So those venues and those places could provide a means by which all can share in the growth and the wealth of whatever the venue is going to be. And so that's the way I think they look at it. They look more at a long-term situation, more so than just the original outlay of cash that they're going to have to put up for it.
Right. That's the business acumen that you have that comes in handy in conversations like these. Then Todd on the text line, Strick, says he's not sure how the NBA would work, but what about a G League team coming to Omaha? Do you think that would be maybe more viable?
Yeah, I think G League would be more viable. I actually thought we probably could have landed one of them, either Minnesota or but they've kind of figured they want to keep them a little bit closer to their areas. I thought maybe we could have landed maybe Chicago or even Wisconsin, but you can understand they're gonna like to keep those pretty close, and that way they can get to them without too much trouble. That's the bad and the downside of not having NBA teams. Now, I still think we probably could have landed Colorado, the Nuggets. But the Nuggets probably have an option to either go down to Albuquerque. I don't know where the Nuggets is at. I can't tell you where their G League team is, but Colorado's so big they could put it in Fort Collins or they could put it somewhere else and house it. But that would have been dope to have it, for the Nuggets and stuff like that. So teams would be looking at that as well, because some of these G League teams are struggling, that they literally have to be over subsidized because they just wherever they place them, they don't get. Like Texas does pretty good. Like the Legends, they do pretty good. There's teams
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande Valley, Houston, they do very good. But there's some that don't, and that's where I think those G League teams would probably look for an option to get it into a place where they could have some success.
Just for some of those options that you're throwing out there, you mentioned Minnesota's is in Des Moines, right? The Iowa Wolves play in Des Moines. That's a little bit closer. The Nuggets team is the Grand Rapids Gold, so in Grand Rapids, Colorado. Oklahoma City's G League team shares an arena with the Thunder, right? So as part of the Thunder's arena, maybe the G League, I don't know if they play on the same floor or just a different part of the arena that's attached. But that's where, Strick, I look at, again, the major to minor league kind of model. If the NBA were ever to come to Kansas City, which, again, we agree is way down the list, Omaha, I think, would be a perfect feeder, right? Because you have the Omaha Storm Chasers and the Kansas City Royals. Give the Kansas City Kings back, whatever, to Kansas City basketball. Throw the G League team up in Omaha, right? I mean, could you put it in St. Louis? Yeah, you could. I think that would be a competitor. I think that'd be maybe more likely than Omaha, but you already have an example of an Omaha to Kansas City pipeline. So that, to me, is maybe Omaha's best shot at an NBA G League team.
Well, let me tell you who's smart, right?
You.
When I
smart.
No. When I played in the CBA at the time, I played in Oklahoma City for a short period of time, and then also in Moline. It was called Quad Cities, and I spent time there. Now listen, one of the best CBA locations at that time was a place called Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls Skyforce. They still exist. And they're the Heat affiliate. How? Because they're smart. Right? The Heat said this, like, they packed that stadium, like Sioux
the
Falls,
Pentagon.
They put heads in there, right? Now, the awesome thing about it is the Heat get it. They're even though they're so far, they figured it out. Like, this is a great place for our young men to thrive. Why? It keeps them focused. They're not in a place where, there's stuff to do in Sioux Falls. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, away from Miami. It's not in Florida. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not saying anything about Sioux Falls. Yeah, for your G League team, you don't want to put them in Orlando or something like that. You want to keep them focused on the task.
On who?
So, yeah, you feel me? So that's why I think that's smart. But also, it's not losing a whole bunch of money. That's where I think some of these teams would need to fight. Now, I understand. I think Detroit has theirs in Grand Rapids, and that's because there was an old CBA team there. I can't say for sure, but I think there is a team there in Grand Rapids as well. But I could be wrong.
The Motor City Cruise moved back to Detroit, so Grand Rapids is with Denver.
Okay, Grand Rapids is Denver, which I think is crazy, but I understand because it was a former. They've been there before. They they know, and they loved it. That was another great play. Matter of fact, Grand Rapids was where I made it back. That was a game I had where I came back to the league. I went nuts in Grand Rapids. It was a good little turnout. But yeah, man, I think there's teams out there like New Orleans, for example. Like, why not? In Omaha. I mean, it would be a good pitch, but I think we need to look in that arena to figure out, what we could do with the basketball side of things. I think we can afford a good G League team.
I think you're onto something there. One other thing on the text line before we throw it to break and cross it over here. Disc Golf Jake, I'm going to agree with half of your text and disagree with the second half. He says, Nebraska football is a great example of an economy booster. Yes, the number of businesses that depend on Husker football, bringing traffic to Lincoln is stupendous. Stricky, you mentioned the effects COVID had on obviously every economy, but especially, downtown Lincoln and Haymarket districts within walking distance of Memorial Stadium, just how big a hit they suffered when Husker football didn't allow fans in for the home games. Here's where I disagree with Disc Golf Jake, though. He says, you should move volleyball to PBA. Imagine that for the Haymarket district.
No.
Here's the thing. I get where your thought is coming from. Could Husker volleyball sell out PBA all the time? Maybe, probably, but there's no need for that, right? Husker volleyball is self-sufficient. It's self-supporting, right? It's operating with a surplus, unlike pretty much any other women's athletic program in the country. Not Iowa women's basketball, not UConn women's basketball, not Stanford, Penn State volleyball, right? Nebraska volleyball stands alone in being self-sufficient. So yeah, I'm sure the businesses would love it if Husker volleyball was there. Maybe they could play in PBA a match or two, right? Bring Wisconsin to PBA, sell tickets, something like that. But it's cheaper to operate the Devaney Center. It has to be, right? Just in terms of personnel and the portion of the facility being used compared to what would be used at PBA. So yeah, it would be a bigger probable economic boost for the Haymarket. But in terms of the actual Nebraska athletic department operating budget, it number one makes no sense to add that big a cost to go to PBA from Devaney after you've just remodeled it for the Devaney Center. And B, Tricky, you can talk to this too with your business acumen. Demand is so important, right? When you have a lower supply, it drives demand. People want to be at Husker volleyball games. They will pay more money to be at Husker volleyball games, to be one of the 8,000 people in the stands. And that's an important concept when you have a team that's as good as Nebraska volleyball is.
Voila. Well said.
That's what we got. He's Strick. I'm Austin. We will throw it to break. When we get back, we'll have Jay Foreman in here for the crossover. Send you on your way to Old School. Back in a sec.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals, located in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.5% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of February. When you purchase a pre-owned S or X Series combine from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. View our current inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through February 20th are fresh cut ribeye for just $17.99 per pound and buy two, get one free on Montoya potato gnocchi. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Thursday, February 15th versus the Vegas Thrill at the Dollar Loan Center in Las Vegas. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 8 p.m. with first serve at 9. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Koppel truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at KoppelCars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here one final time during On the Block. Austin Norman and Erick Strickland joined by Jay Foreman. Stricky, I'm just going to throw this straight to Jay. Our resident hockey guy.
What's up?
That's you, Jay.
Yeah, I know. What's up?
Yeah, you're a Minnesota guy. Hockey. We know you're about that hockey life. What if I told you Gretna could be getting an NHL team?
Gretna?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'd be there.
You'd be there?
Yeah, I love hockey.
Puck drop and everything?
Yeah, I love the great thing about hockey. I like watching it because I can't play it. But yeah, hockey is. I always say it's the ultimate team sport. Champion of the or the Stanley Cup champions are generally the guys that sacrifice the most.
Yeah,
longest playoffs,
probably fair.
Longest and hardest playoffs.
Strung out playoffs.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, we were talking about that as part of the potential NHL team would come alongside a potential Team USA volleyball facility. So the guy that developed Nebraska Crossing is building a new district out there in Gretna. What would it mean for, like, how legitimizing would it be for the city of Omaha, the state of Nebraska, to get Team USA volleyball and potentially an NHL team?
Well, I mean, I think it would be, good for Omaha and Lincoln. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's on the Lincoln side of Omaha, and so I think it would just continue to grow the, in between, Lincoln and Omaha. So I think it'd be great for obviously Gretna and Omaha, and also it let obviously Nebraska and Omaha does sports right. They support everything that's come through both Lincoln and Omaha. So I think it's a good fit.
What's coming up on Old School?
We're going to talk. Well, unfortunately, we got to talk about the women's basketball team last night. Dang, I've been there. Don't ever want to be there again. But obviously, going to talk about what they have to do to remedy what happened last night? Was it just running into a buzzsaw in Ohio State who was really motivated and wanted to knock you off because you just beat Iowa? We're going to talk about a little bit of the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, Draymond is teeter-tottering on being exiled from the league. He's, and then also, what do the Lakers do? I think the Lakers are going to make a huge trade this summer. And it's going to be 1 year, prove it, or 2 years max with LeBron, AD, and another third superstar.
There we go.
That's my prediction.
Old school. And hey, don't forget, we'll pan the camera over. I can reach
Thirsty Thursday, Strick. I'm about to cash in
Kevin,
on all your.
hi.
He brought us some extra stuff too, man.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Man, I wish I was in. I tell you, if I didn't have to do some of this tidy work, I would have been down there and got to the plane. I would have made it, but God darn it, I had so much stuff I had to do.
We'll race one for you, Stricky. Old school with Jay coming up next. Stick around, Thirsty Thursday.
I'm taking it home, Strick. Taking it home. Taking it home, Strick, man. I was gonna save it for when you get back, but no thanks. I got it. I got you covered, dog.
Talk to you tomorrow during On the Block.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Anarchy, which is an exciting free workout for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who want the most out of their workout. Anarchy can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.5% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of February. When you purchase the pre-owned